Okay. It is early. Early Sunday afternoon. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Cosplay Bites, the show about cosplays, conventions, and all the extra nerdy bits and bytes. For this new episode, as we trek on to episode 100, I'm joined by Spectra Marvelous. Is that the full name?
No, just Spectra.
Spectra now? Okay. All right. How you doing?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Good.
Early Sunday day. Get
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. Um, so for today's topic, I figured it'll be sort of like an in-depth interview with you, because you've been in the cosplay community, cosplay game, so to speak, for a long time, I think.
About 10 years, give or take the pandemic.
I think, yeah. I find it very funny / weird because I feel like we got into cosplay around at the same time, and then soon after, like, we just met through running in similar friend groups and whatnot. So
Yeah, sounds about right.
yeah. So in addition to that, we both went to PAX East a couple of weeks ago, and then you were, I'm gonna say you were a guest at Anime Boston, which I think
Yeah,
you get.
I was one of the featured cosplay guests and the masquerade craftsmanship judge.
Right, awesome. Yeah, it's funny, and I think it had to do with the fact that I'm not that terribly into anime, but despite living in New England my whole damn life, I've never been to Anime Boston, not once.
I'm actually surprised to hear that. That was like one of the first conventions I ever went to.
Right. No, PAX East was mine, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Back in 2012.
But, I think my first year was 2013 was my first year at PAX East.
Oh, nice.
So it was like my 10-year PAX anniversary, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh man. But I guess to kick things off, you've been in cosplay for about 10 years ish. How did that start?
Well, when I first went to Anime Next, which was my first ever convention in 2011, I had no idea what conventions were. I didn't know what cosplay was. I had some friends I made at the time during my last year of college there. And I randomly just bumped into these dudes. They're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In this like empty room that they kind of just took over their entire friend group. And I started hanging out with them more and more. And over like that last 2 semesters of being friends, the last month of class before like finals started, they asked me if I wanted to go to a convention with them. Now, I had no idea what convention was because at the time I was not hanging around a lot of nerdy people. So they were like, "Oh, it's basically this giant like get together people who are really into like anime and stuff like that. People dress up. There's like vendors. There's like parties and stuff like that." I'm like, "Why not? I'll give it a shot." So I went with them and ended up having a really, really good time. I didn't cosplay. I just went as a regular attendee. I saw people in costumes.
Right.
I ironically met a lot of people there who would later on become like really good friends of mine. And then after doing ANEX, I had kind of gotten like bitten by the convention bug. I wanted to do another one. And they were talking about going to another one in Baltimore called Otakon. And at the time I was like, yeah, I'm down. If it's anything like Anime Next, I'm down. It wasn't like Anime Next. It was actually way better. The convention center was like 5 times the size of what Anime Next was. So it was like a huge convention. This is back when Otakon was at the Baltimore Convention Center. So the convention center was huge, and the convention itself was massive. I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
So going to it was kind of like experiencing a whole new world because it was just like there's so many people here. There's so many people in costume. The level of costumes are much different from what I saw from Anime Next. And that ended up being like one of the best summers of my life just because of that.
Sure.
So from there, I had the convention bug. I wanted to do more, so I did New York Comic Con. I did it solo this time because my college friends didn't go. And then as the new year came in, I wanted to do Katsu that year, but I wasn't able to. So I went to Anime Boston as my first one, and then that was like the first time I ever dressed up for a convention.
Okay.
And I just bought a fucking Deadpool suit from like eBay and just went as a Deadpool.
That's how it happens. That's how it starts.
And then yeah, and then the rest is kind of history. I started doing more cons and getting really into making costumes. So
Yeah.
from there, I was just like, I want to do more, and here we are now.
Very nice. Yeah, yeah. Your armor builds always astounded me. I you got really good with utilizing EVA foam and all that fun stuff. I think
Yeah,
you were definitely one of the individuals I looked to in terms of like trying to piece together how I would do my own EVA foam
I
outfits.
appreciate
Back
that.
when I still made cosplays, I really don't have the time or money anymore.
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. Like real life takes over, which is understandable. So you don't have much time to really do your hobbies and such like that. But you gotta try to make time to like squeeze in a hobby or two and see what you can do.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it comes to me in cosplay, I kind of took a break just from like handling real life stuff. And I wanted to prioritize that, and a lot of things happened in a very short amount of time for me. So my costume creation slowed down a lot. And it's just now getting to the point where I'm like, this is what I actually like doing. Like, this is what I'm passionate about.
Sure.
And every time I go to a convention, I'm reminded about that. It's mainly just because of my work schedule. My work schedule is very demanding, and I don't really have the free time like I used to make
Yeah.
costumes as frequently as I would like to. But that might be changing soon because I might be. I'm actually retiring from my career and doing like a career change.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
So I have more time to like work on stuff and then see how this next path goes for me.
Nice. Nice. Oh, so I guess that would.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny because I think one of my questions in my notes I had was that what were your like future plans like going into the year? But I guess you kind of just like half answered that almost.
Yeah, sorta.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get back into making more props and armor because a lot of people do message me through Instagram and Twitter about it. It's one thing I've always wanted to do, but I've always kind of like psyched myself out from doing things
Sure.
or like underplaying my skill level. And I always tell myself I'm not good enough to do things.
Oh
But then when I
yeah.
go to conventions and do judging and stuff like that, and people are talking to me about stuff, I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly how to make a costume.
Yeah.
I can find the faults in a costume when someone makes an armor or prop or how they can do to improve it. And I'm just like, you know what? I need to start prioritizing what makes me happy because my current job is not that. So I figured I'd give myself some time because I feel like I missed out on some times. Like I did make costumes, but I could have made it more. Um, I
Right.
always prefer doing quality over quantity, but if I just focus on stuff, I know I can really like make incredible things in a short amount of time if I just have the time to focus and actually work on things.
Right.
And 'cause, like when I first started out armor making, my armor builds were not good. Like
Yeah.
looking back on them, like I could have done a lot of things like desperately and like drastically improve them. Um, and I'm like listing everything I could have done, and I'm like, why don't I just do that? And when it comes to the creation process, the biggest enemy I had was myself. So I always told myself I wasn't capable of doing certain things, or like I said, underplaying myself. And I just gotta remember, everyone starts somewhere. You practice makes perfection or progress, like they say.
Right.
Like the more you do something, the better you'll be at it. And just to give up on it is not going to do you any favors in the end. So, generally speaking, it was like, what do I want to do? Do I want to continue wasting time at a career that is not fulfilling to me, or do I want to take a risk, try something different, and see how that works for me? Because I feel like it wouldn't be a risk. I just need the time, so I figure I'd give myself some time and see how that works out with this next career path.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mainly just want to get back to what makes me happy, making costumes. I do have some future goals that I did place for myself. Um, I want to first of all, I want to attend a convention in the West Coast. I've never been to the West Coast
Same here.
um, for anything. So I would like to either go just as a vacation, as a con, or working or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go to Anime Expo this year because I don't really have any conventions planned till Dragon Con at the moment. But I would like to go to some stuff in between them. Um, I also want to compete in a cosplay contest because the last 3 years, I've been really talking to a lot of judges
Right.
about craftsmanship and judging contests. I did at MegaCon last year. I did at Anime Boston this year. Might be doing one later this year. I'm not sure yet. I can't confirm that yet. But I'm just like, this stuff makes you want to be creative. This stuff makes you want to make bigger builds. So it's just
Yeah.
like, what should I just go for it? Like, what convention would I even do it at is the main thing. So I think that's next on my plate. I want to get back into shooting and modeling and stuff like that because I've always like really liked doing that. I have goals, and I just need the time to do everything. So that's
Yeah.
mainly what the remainder of the year is going to be for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I just got a new job and I'm kind of just metering it out and just like, continuing to like work hard to, make sure I'm doing a good job for this new position until I start thinking about, making new travel plans and like, I got like the benefits got to kick in first. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what's the point? But
I completely
definitely,
agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely West Coast is a goal for me. I'd love to go to one because I would getting it all in my head actually like earlier today, just going through like catching up on like Twitter feed of seeing like everyone that went to freaking Creator Clash over the weekend.
Yeah, those things look like a lot of fun. I was checking out this morning.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought to maybe try to go next year, or the fact that like I think you probably do feel this too. It's like a lot of like people that we've gotten to meet or friends of ours, the bulk of them are on the West Coast, and you just feel like you're missing out on so many opportunities just because of the
Yeah.
location of where we're at. 'Cause it's like, what the fuck happened on the East Coast?
To be honest, I feel like when it comes to the pandemic, a lot of people started pushing really conventions and stuff aside to really pursue other endeavors, whether that's like, OF or Twitch
Yeah.
or YouTube, TikTok. I feel like going forward, that's probably the best choice to do because conventions are really popular now. Cosplay is really popular now, and it gets more and more popular. Unfortunately, I have a lot of new people who come in and kind of like make this stuff not fun, or they're kind of like, not the right people to be around.
Mm.
I feel like, the biggest issue I had is being around people who generally don't want to see you be successful too. They mainly just want you to like stay in like the same bubble as them, like not make any progress, not really.
Yeah, like stay in your lane kind of thing. They don't want
Yeah,
to hype you up and
like
see you. Yeah.
if you got like a bump up of followers, someone like big retweeted you, they got mad at you. Or if you got to go to a convention that they couldn't afford to go to, they got mad at you.
Oh my god.
And I really decided in 2016 to stop that because I wanted to hang around people who are going to motivate me to like do better and pursue bigger goals. And I feel like I was doing that. It wasn't until 2019 where I kind of slowed down because I was changing career paths.
Right.
And then people I was around the time definitely made cons not fun anymore. But once I stopped hanging out with them and I was with a new group of people, or hanging out with people who I haven't seen in a while, I felt like I got that spark back. And then the pandemic happened, and then everything just kind of went to a screeching halt. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just chill at home and try other things. So I tried Twitch streaming, which I do enjoy. I generally wish I had more time to do so.
Yeah.
I've recently, or not recently, like within like the last year, actually last May, I built myself a brand new tower, my first ever huge PC build.
Nice.
All set up here, and I'm getting some new equipment recently because I remember if I told you at PAX East I wanted a gift card.
We were gonna touch on that eventually when we get to
I
like our time at
called
PAX East. It's like, no, this guy randomly just won a gift card for 1,000.
it. Yeah, literally.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, I guess we'll talk about it then.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so it was a Thursday. It was Thursday when I was walking around the show floor, just taking everything in because I was doing PAX East solo this year because usually I last year I brought my best friends with me and
Mm,
we had a lot of fun. But this year I was solo and I was working last year. This year I was just doing a panel for Nerd Caliber, so I really just went as an attendee, which I wasn't used to doing because I've worked pretty much every PAX East I've been going to since my first one.
right.
And
Haven't felt that
I
in a
just
while.
walked around, had fun, and then I saw a Street Fighter 6 booth, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like my most anticipated game of the year.
Mm.
Let me go try to play. And the New Egg was passing out shirts and saying, "Oh, if you wear this shirt and we see you in the shirt after a certain time, we will you enter for a chance to win a gift card for $1,000 for the website." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'll put the T-shirt on." Walked around. Thursday, the person they picked to win was like 10 feet in front of me. So literally, I was right behind the girl, walking in line, and then next thing you know, they picked her to win the $1,000 gift card. And I'm like, damn, dude, I was so close to winning that.
Yeah.
And then come Friday, yeah, they opened up the bigger Street Fighter 6 booth for everyone to join in. So I went in there with some friends. I'm like, I'm gonna wait online to play. I waited in that line for like an hour and 15 minutes, and it was my turn to go up next. And I had the New Egg shirt on again because I got a second one because like let me grab one for my mom. And
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I had the T-shirt on. I'm waiting to play Street Fighter 6. The guy comes up to me, taps me on my shoulder. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's your name?" I'm like, "Oh, my name's Jabri. Are you from Canada or Rhode Island?" I'm like, "No, I'm from New York City." He's like, "Cool. You just won $1,000 New Egg gift card." And I was like, "What?"
I don't know.
It,
I don't know if you possibly know this, but he said if you're not from Canada or Rhode Island, what would have happened if you were from Rhode Island? Because that's where I'm
I don't
from.
know. I think there's maybe like a tax thing. I don't know because they asked me for tax information after I won the card.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Um, maybe in proper Canada, probably just had to transfer it to different currency. But
Yeah, that makes sense for Canada. But what? Okay,
yeah,
Rhode
I
Island's
feel like the
helping
Rhode
me
Island
out.
thing too. To be honest, I have no idea. He didn't really explain it. Once I told him from New York City, he just told me I won. And I was like, I told the Street Fighter 6 guy who was on stage, like, it's my turn next, but I'll be right back. And took photos. They talked to me. I think they had me on camera and stuff like that. And it was just really cool. And then he was like, "Yeah, we'll contact you after the con for your gift card." So they contacted me after the con. I signed some paperwork. They contacted me after the con. My gift card came earlier this week. So
Oh.
I was on the site looking at a bunch of upgrades for my PC, and it's crazy because I already put money aside to make upgrades to my PC anyway. Because I want to get a new graphics card and
Sure.
an updated processor.
Hmm.
Because my friend was like, "That's probably all you need to update. Because your computer bill is actually kind of powerful." And I was gonna get a 4070, which yeah, I didn't do that now, but the $1,000 I won, I decided to put that into straight up content creation. So
Oh.
I ordered a video camera. I got a second gaming monitor, which I technically didn't need, but I wanted it because I'm using my old monitor with the new monitor I bought when I got my PC.
Hmm.
Um, I'm probably gonna get a GoPro next. So when I go to conventions, I can have a GoPro on me so I can record footage. So I'm gonna start doing like more video content because I actually went to college for journalism and I know how to video edit it and shoot videos.
Sure.
So I want to start doing that more often on top of upgrading stuff for Twitch, which I already did because now I got a new webcam. My next monitor is coming. I got a new keyboard from a friend. My processor should be here sometime next week. Um, and then I'm probably gonna upgrade my lights that I have here. So literally, oh, and I'm getting a new microphone and headset. So literally, it's like I want to do more stuff like that. And with the video camera, I want to start recording myself making costumes because I want to make bigger costumes. I want to make bigger props because I really want to like add that video content there because I feel like photos and stuff is great, but Instagram and Twitter don't really seem to like photos that much. I figure moving to video content for
Yeah, they
TikTok
have
and
been. They
YouTube
have
is the
been.
better idea. But I'm still gonna get like photos and stuff because I really like taking photos of myself, having really nice modeling photos taken of myself. I want to get back into body tape art, which I did a little bit of in 2019.
Hmm.
Um, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm pretty much game to open up my horizons to anything at this point. Like I was working on costumes yesterday. Because I'm supposed to be shooting with a friend next month for a weekend, and planning that out. And just looking forward to getting back into the grind of everything. Like it was nice to have a little vacation during the pandemic time, but once I started guessing conventions and cons started hitting me back up to guest, I'm like, okay, this is more lucrative now than before because this stuff makes me happy while my job makes me miserable. So I feel like, during the pandemic when I was working from home, it was fine. Once I started
Yeah.
going back in the office and last summer got toxic for that workplace, I was like, yeah, trying to change up how I'm doing things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually getting used to officially working from home because my job lets me do that. So it's been funny just having downtime and like trying to keep myself occupied. But
Yeah.
no, it's like honestly, hearing you say all that just been really inspiring because I've also like I've been like redoing like re-switching up my own Twitch schedule for streaming, and it's just so hard for me to like get over the hump of like low viewers, low people like coming into your stream because like I thought that like I was switching to like now streaming on the weeknight, which is apparently when everyone's watching streams. Because before
Yeah.
I used to do weekends only, and like I get very little people, but it's like it's just also very hard for me to like keep myself entertained and like just talking to dead air. Because
Yeah, one way I got around doing that, because when I first started Twitch streaming, same, honestly. I used to get like maybe 3 to 5 viewers, like as an average. When I streamed to other people, I got more. But once I was no longer able to stream, that kind of died out. And unfortunately, that's just the gist of it.
yeah,
Keeping a Discord community is also a lot of work. And if you're not doing it full time or have moderators to do it for you, it is even more work. And
yeah.
have moderators, so to speak. It's mainly me and my friend group who I want to like do stuff with YouTube with, managing my Discord. But at the same time, it's like my Discord's in dire need of upgrades. So
Yeah,
one thing I need to do is get proper moderators to really like solve and fix the issues I was having. And once I have a steady stream schedule, I feel like when I have more time in my hands, I could do more
yeah,
because I know the biggest issue I had with Twitch streaming was keeping an audience. Because I actually stopped streaming for a little bit a few summers ago. I think it was summer of 2021 when the bot thing was happening, the racist bots.
oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Streaming for a little bit, and then shortly after that, my PC started having issues, so I couldn't stream.
Mm.
And then shortly after that, I got the upgrade at work, the promotion at work. I started working a new job, essentially a new job. I was back in office. Um, and that took up all my free time for almost all of 2022. It wasn't until like the tail end of 2022 where I was like, all right, this is taking up way too much of my free time. So I cut down on clients, I cut down on working overtime, and as I start prioritizing me, and I realized actually Anime NYC weekend was when I had like the mind opening thing because after that I had strep throat and I had to stay home from work for a week. And during that week, I just streamed games. And I had a really good audience watching me. I was getting averaging like 10 viewers per stream, which is pretty big for me.
Yeah, no, it
But
is
there's also
seriously.
a time where, yeah, at the time Pokemon came out. So people wanted to see Pokemon Scarlet, and that's all I was doing for a week straight. And every now and then I try to Twitch stream when I can. I got very busy, obviously, for PAX East and Anime Boston, so I didn't have time to stream.
Yeah,
I was gonna stream later today when I came back from the city. We'll see, but mainly right now I can only really do weekends. I could do during the daytime, but like not a lot of people watch during the daytime. So
yeah,
my whole thing was, I just gotta prioritize what makes me happy and what
yeah,
I enjoy doing because as long as my bills are taken care of, everything else is extra. That's the only thing I prioritize. I don't be like trying to make
honestly,
costumes and attend cons if I don't have my bills paid. No.
yeah, no, I think that's the same with me. I'm like, trying to save up for like other important stuff. Like I think 'cause I'm trying to. I'm trying to relax because I'm also going to be in the midst of moving next month to a much better and quieter apartment. Uh, but I got family people on my case about how I've been spending my money, and it's like I'm taking care of my bills. Why can't I do stuff and buy stuff that makes me happy?
Yeah, exactly. Like one thing I learned over the course of the pandemic, you have to do things that make you happy.
Mm.
I noticed one thing about the pandemic I was happy about was I had way more free time on my hands. And at that point, I hadn't had free time on my hand in a very long time. I think the most free time I had was during that time and during earlier convention days. But I realized being home and playing games with friends, just chatting with friends, watching movies,
Yeah.
doing Twitch streaming, stuff like that made me generally happy. And then got to work during the daytime, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm done with work at like 4 o'clock, and I have the rest of the day to like do whatever I want. Let me go play video games with my friends. Oh, you want to stream? Yeah, let's do a joint stream, and stuff like that's fun. Like my current schedule, I can't do that, and it's been like that for about a year and a half now. But like I told myself, I'm leaving my job in like 2 months. And then from there, I'll take the summer to work with this other company during the daytime. So I'll have more free time in my hands, and then we'll see what happens with that.
Sure.
And if things go good with them, I'll stick with them. And mainly just gonna try to get back into video and content creation. Like I'm giving myself a challenge for the rest of the year. I want to make one costume a month. Like if it's a big one or small one, something with armor, a prop or whatever. I'm giving myself that challenge. I didn't start this month mainly because of PAX East Anime Boston really taking up my
Yeah.
time, even though I am working on stuff right now. But I just want to get back to what makes me happy. And noticing my mental health was like draining because of my current job was just like, this is not for me. And as long as things are taken care of here at home, I don't need to be killing myself to be in a place that makes me feel like I'm not going nowhere or I'm feeling stuck.
Right.
And that's essentially how I felt with this place. But it seems like a lot of things changed for me in the last I want to say at least a few years, because even though I wasn't prioritizing it, like a lot of stuff has been popping up for me just out of nowhere. They've been like true blessings. Just like, oh, you want to come guest at MegaCon and guest at our giant convention with one of the biggest costume contests in the country? Sure. You want to go be a guest at Anime Boston, one of the cons you went to when you first cosplayed, and be a guest cosplayer and a guest judge for a $5,000 prize pool?
Ooh.
Yeah, like that is insane to me. And it's just
Yeah.
like
No. Seriously. Yeah.
stuff like that is really cool. And then the gift card allowed me to like buy stuff for content creation, and the fact that I
Yeah.
already have money saved up to make all these upgrades already. And it's like, why am I pushing myself back from doing this stuff when things are just opening up for me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's mainly just it's not a it's not a case of my priorities aren't straight. 'Cause I'm not like quitting my job and having nothing to fall back on and just like hoping I make it big. It's
No.
me.
No. Yeah. You have a backup plan.
Yeah, I have backup plans. I'm working. I'm doing things to keep a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and my bills paid. No problem. I just want to find what makes me happy and try with that. And if it works
Yeah.
out, cool. If it doesn't, at least I tried. But I don't want to sit here and complain about it and not be happy knowing that I never tried,
Right.
or just throwing caution to the wind and risking it all, because I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people have the pipe dream of just like, breaking out and becoming super popular out of nowhere, and that's just going to fix everything. And ideally, that's not how it always works. The people who do blow up are very fortunate. They're very lucky.
Yeah. Those
Um,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
and they work really hard to keep that. I think people fail to realize that um, going viral or like blowing up or having the right people around you won't help you in the long run if you can't keep those people around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people don't realize that. And I'm guilty of that too. Like they had a few costumes that went viral for me, and I was just like, "Oh, this is great. This is going to continue on." And then real life comes into play, and you're just like, "Okay, I got to prioritize this over this stuff." And it's just like, it's weird. But at the end of the day, you can't let your mental health be drained from purely surviving. It's really tough to say that, but it's true. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way. But things have been turning around for me in the last year and a half that really made me like stop and think, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
finally figured that out, and I'm grateful, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like, literally the last month, just things have just been spiraling. Good news after good news. Like, I got this new job. I'm now able to like permanently work from home, which allows me to stream at night on
Which is the
weeknights because
best.
it was just I wouldn't stream on a weeknight because more than half the time I'd be driving home from work and it's like, no, I don't want to stream. I'm tired and I'm
Oh yeah,
hungry.
trust me. When I get home from work, the last thing I'm thinking about is streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a game I'm really into, and I have to have like a really strong audience who want to see me play that game for me to be like, I just got home from work. It's almost like a little after midnight. Yeah, let's stream. I mean, I could do that. Ideally, I could, but like, would I have the energy to do so? No.
Oh,
The best times, like, I feel like the biggest hurdle when it comes to streaming is, like I said, keeping the audience. If you have a Discord full of people who you're keeping in contact with, you're engaging with them, and they actually genuinely want to care for your work, that is the best way to stream. I feel like when you have that, your Twitch audience and everything will come shortly afterwards. Because I can tell you, friends who've had huge audiences on social media not be able to keep a Twitch audience. I mean, because they're not really doing much with Discord, or like real life takes priority, or they're just not cut out for live streaming. But you got to figure out a way to make it work if you really enjoy it. And I feel like it's just another hurdle to overcome, because when you first start streaming, you're not going to be a professional at it.
no.
You're not going to be a natural at it. Like, even some of the biggest YouTubers who try to go live can't do it. They'll do it once in a blue moon. And it's a lot of trial and error, which I think goes to everything. When it comes to armor making, when it comes to shooting, it's a lot of trial and error. Like, you're not just going to be in a natural. You mean you might if you are lucky you, but you have to practice them, get better. And
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to Twitch streaming, it's basically that. I figured out how my Twitch streams work, and I figure out what my audience like to see. It's just keeping a steady schedule is really hard for me due to my schedule right now.
Right.
But it's one of the things I want to fix and improve on. And I feel like if you are able to like make a schedule and keep yourself to that schedule, engage in your community, you can do it. I generally feel like people can do it.
Yeah. Wait. Oh god, no more siren with this new place I'm moving to. Good freaking god. Literally right around the corner, the fire department and police department, like combo
Okay,
building.
that was you. Okay, I thought I heard that from my window.
No, that was probably me. My mic probably picked it up. Oh god, I can't wait. Fucking wait.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I might be moving this summer. I don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything around me is like, super expensive.
that's well, I mean, that's the thing with this. Like, I did an episode with someone last. I want to say maybe like before. No, it was in December, and she said, "Why not do your podcast on Twitch to give you like more reason to use Twitch?" And I'm like, "Huh,
It's actually not a bad idea.
not
I'm
a bad
surprised
idea."
you
And
had
it's
Twitch.
essentially what I'm doing. Like before the last podcast I did with Kate Sarkisian, and we did it through.
However,
I love her to death. Like I don't need to meet her one day.
he's great.
We did it through like the usual software website that I would be using, but we did it directly like through this website. I could stream directly to Twitch, and it worked. And then I just quickly grabbed the VOD and then uploaded it to my main podcasting platform before the VOD disappeared.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Because I'm not an affiliate, I don't have that power yet. But I kind of was like, I'd love to like utilize my own like screen that I made because I mainly stream through using the Twitch Studio app
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So essentially, like this is the first stream to Twitch podcast recording where I'm using my own screen, and then Discord's apparently working great right now. So
Well, most of the stuff I do during when I was doing D&D on with Team Devil's Luck through Twitch, they use some kind of program to do it. But I know a lot of people just use Discord for everything, like podcast reviews, movie watching,
yeah,
and even if you can't like get the VOD through Twitch right now because you're an affiliate, You're not an affiliate yet. Why don't you just use like OBS Studios and record your podcast on there?
Too much work. I'm lazy.
I wanted to say, like, when I was streaming games that I want to like take the footage, I took the footage for like Pokemon Scarlet when I played through that game. I recorded my entire playthrough of it
I would
on
have to.
Twitch and through OBS Studios. The footage will go right to your computer, and you can just edit it from there.
I could. I would just have to re-download Streamlabs OBS because that was the
No,
platform.
not Streamlabs OBS, OBS Studios. That's the one I use.
Yeah, no, I was using Streamlabs, and then that whole debacle happened, and then I was in the process of transferring over to Twitch Studio, and
Okay, because I was gonna say I know Streamlabs. I used to use Streamlabs OBS. They're actually incredibly taxing on your computer. Streamlabs OBS does the same exact thing, but is way less taxing. I've had zero issues with it since I started using it about like a year. And when did Rise come out? Monster Hunter Rise came out in March 2021. I've been using it since then, and it gives me no issues. On the fact I can also record my gameplay stuff like that. Even if I'm not streaming the game, I could still record it as if I'm streaming.
right.
So it's something to look into.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I mean, I've just become so accustomed to Twitch Studio at the moment that it's just.
Hey, if you're used to it, it works.
Yeah.
I'd say keep using it. You don't have to switch if it's not working for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, because I mean, also like I would just immediately go to my Twitch channel and then like I'll just grab this recording and then download it and then it's been working so far. But
Yeah. See, that's how I generally feel about it. I mean, there's so many different avenues and options when it comes to content creation now. Like, it's real. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's not difficult to get into. You just gotta find what you're passionate about and just work on.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, if you really want to, all you need is a freaking cell phone now to like do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching a TikToker literally just start talking about movies during the pandemic, and now it's like his full-time career, and he's been doing it for a little over 2 years now, and it's insane because it's just like, not saying it's easy, but it could really be like whatever you're passionate about. If you're really passionate about something, and there's a area of expertise to talk about it, and like you have things you can do and discuss, and you have the right platform, you can make it happen. It's just gotta work for it. It just takes a lot of hard work, and I don't think people want to do that hard work on top of already trying to work a full-time job, because it's very difficult to do.
Yeah. That's essentially what I'm feeling right now. Because then
Same here.
My issue is like podcasting in particular. It's just a matter of like I can do solo episodes if I wanted to, but I gotta make sure I have enough material to cover a solid amount of time. But it's just like the majority of my podcast content is with guests, more than one people like you.
Mm-hmm.
Schedules are a bitch.
Yeah, it's really hard to schedule cosplayers because everyone just stays super busy, or if they're not like at home, they're at a convention, or if they're not at a convention, they're shooting, or they're doing something and devoting time to something that they already have to do. It can be a lot, to say the least. And I definitely feel like with cosplayers it's a lot harder, especially during the big con season. But strangely enough, one thing I learned earlier on when I started doing conventions, I really started like doing them without my college friends. There really is an off season for conventions anymore. Like, there always seems to be a big convention like right around the corner. If it's like, oh, it's January, like, right at the holidays, it's not gonna be a convention. Oh, what's that? There's MagFest coming up? Oh, damn. Oh, MagFest was a lot of fun. Oh, TatsuCon's next month?
Oh, crap.
Go to that. And then, you have PAX East, or like maybe now is downtime, but then there's like SumiCon and SakuraCon. There's A-Con, and then there's like the summer conventions, which are like always the most popular ones. There's like one every single week, it seems. Then you have like fall cons, like New York Comic Con, Anime NIC, and now you got HolMat, which is right before Christmas, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, there really isn't an off season.
Stop, calm down.
But I feel like the trade-off that there may not be an off season, but you don't have to go to every single convention. Like, you can do like the big ones and have time to like chill out and do like TikTok, and YouTube, and Patreon, OnlyFans, Twitch stream. And if it is literally all you're doing, then you can make a schedule to fit all that. You can work on costumes on stream. You can TikTok around that.
Yeah.
But balancing two potential careers can be a lot because there's not enough time in the day. Now, I feel like it's a little easy when you're working from home. There's no commute involved, so you're not wasting time like commuting and getting drained from traffic or like
Mm-hmm.
dealing with coworkers in the office like I had to deal with.
Mm.
But if I was working from home, I'd come right here to my computer, do my job, and once that's done, I go over there and work on my crafts, or I go and plug a game from my entertainment center, plug into my capture card, start playing. It's just like finding time to do everything.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I'm trying to like get a better handle on now. Because I feel I did fine yesterday, but then there are some days I just want to sit down and watch YouTube videos or Twitch streams and not do anything.
Amen. Amen, brother.
Yeah, but then you got to realize that if you're not working for the things that you're passionate about and you're not really like making the effort to do that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel justified to complain that you're not getting somewhere if you're not putting in the effort.
Yeah.
You got to put effort into whatever you want to do, and if you're not doing that, I don't feel you earn the right to complain about where you are in life or how something didn't work out for you. Because I found myself doing that for a while. It's like being so mad at my job. It's like, well, I can't just do this. It's like the reason why I'm not doing it because you're putting so much into this job that you know nothing is going to come back. And I
Yeah.
feel recently that's pretty much where I was mentally with it. It was like, okay, nothing is happening with this job, so let me try something new.
Yeah.
Here we are now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely trying to, every once in a while, I like to like shoot my shots, so to speak, and trying to like get some like the bigger name creators and cosplayers out there to just like try to be a guest on the show.
Yeah, that's
Especially,
hard.
especially since I'm leading up because I want to make this track of episodes leading up to episode 100 like special and like go all out, go big because it boggles my mind that I've been doing this for it'll be 6 years in August.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, not to knock it, like, I mean, I've gotten to attend PAX East, mostly PAX East, as a member of the media through my podcast, and that's gotten me some like awesome developer interviews with a couple of people, and like I've been reaching out to a couple afterwards, trying get some more questions answered. I'm trying to figure out other forms of podcasting content to make in the meantime, like in between like these like big main episodes that I'm doing.
Mhm.
So speaking of, somewhat of a good point.
We got really off topic. I feel like I probably answered a lot of your questions, or we went too deep into one of them.
Well, no. This is perfect. I live for this stuff. Truly, I do. But going off of like bizarre tangent, but I mean like solid segue efforts on my part. PAX East. Aside from you winning the gift card, which we touched on, earlier, you were there. You helped host one panel.
Yeah, Nerd Caliber does the cosplay shootout panel, which they've been doing at PAX East for like the last couple of conventions.
Yeah.
They do it at a lot of conventions, but PAX East particularly done it at least the last few years. And basically, it's to get a team of a cosplayer or two and a photographer to create a really good image from using the convention site and whatever techniques they can come across, fitting a theme that we put across. Then we look at the photos, we give critiques, we judge them, and then the winner wins a prize. Narcala's been doing this the last few years. They've done it in New York Comic Con, they've done it at PAX East, they've done it at other conventions, so that's like become their thing.
Mm.
And they asked me to be a part of that. And I was like, okay, why not? So we did that. It was a lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of cosplayers like that. A lot of people were very interested in our work, and we get to talk about costume creation, photo opportunities, and stuff like that. And seeing a lot of people who are fresh and new to cosplay, like really get a hold of that. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And I really like doing that because I really love doing things that they're fun. They're just fun. And when their captain was like, "Hey, you want to do this panel with me?" I was like, "All right, not working, but sure, why not?" I got a panelist bash PAX East, so okay. And PAX East is a favorite convention of mine. It's like it's been a work convention of mine since I started going. I've worked with Aces Predator. I've worked with Volante Designs. I work for game companies. And I really enjoyed PAX East for that. But going as an attendee for like the first time ever was weird for me, but I would do it again. Like, I
Yeah,
really had a fun time at the convention.
yeah, yeah. No, well, that's the last episode I did. I did with Mink the Satyr, who was one of your other panelists
Yeah,
for the cosplay
yeah, I met
shootout.
her at
So
that part. She's awesome.
yeah, no, she is friggin' fantastic. So yeah, she and I were talking about it, talking about the event. And I mean, I've certainly a lot of a lot of times for me, and like it wasn't. Oh no, a little bit. Like a lot of times, con for me are like they're also like opportunities, like you said, to like see friends that you rarely see a couple times a
Hmm.
year due to distance. So sometimes for me, it's like a matter of trying to get a hold of them on like DMs on social media, like pray to the gods of the Wi-Fi of the convention center that it works, and then you're just going and going and going, trying to find them and try to hang out with them because I was able to do that. But then also the fact that I had to miss a couple of media appointments because I wanted to see friends so badly. So I think that was a lesson learned this year for next year to try to balance
Fun
that
balance.
balance it a little better.
Hmm.
Um, but shoot, where was I going with this?
It always comes back to balance.
Yeah.
It's always coming back to balance.
Um, crap, I had something and you. Or maybe it'll come back.
Hmm.
Were there other aside from going as an attendee, and you played Street Fighter Six? Were there any other like standout games that you played that you wanted to like
Uh,
talk about for a bit?
Honestly, to be 100% honest, when I saw Street Fighter Six there, all other games didn't matter to me. Um,
Okay.
not to sound not to sound like that, but I have a really big history with fighting games. Before I attended
Okay.
convention, I played Street Fighter Six in tournaments. Not Street Fighter Six, Street Fighter Four, and like the Alpha series and Marvel vs. Capcom in tournament play.
Okay.
When I first started going to convention, one of the first things I started doing once I was in the community is I used to attend Mash Fest a lot, which was this video game event ran by John, who works at Midtown Comics. He's the owner of Sonic Boombox now. But when he first started out,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, when he first started out, he had Mash Fest, and Mash Fest was like a video game nighttime, not really like a club, but like we rented out a venue. We'd bring video games and we played video games there. We played Marvel vs. Capcom, PlayStation All Stars, Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, Tekken, basically a lot of fighting game stuff. And that's what I first started doing. I met my group there, like my main core group of friends, because of Mash Fest.
Hmm.
Um, and we were Mash Fest attendees for well over a year and a half. We were some of the OGs. And then when John started moving more into Unisonic Boombox and started getting opportunities to go to cons, we stopped doing Mash Fest, but we all still played fighting games.
Right.
So every time there was a fighting game announced, that was like my favorite thing to talk about, favorite thing to do. I want to get my hands on the game. I want to get to play early. And matter of fact, at New York Comic Con 2011 is when they announced Marvel vs. Capcom, and I got to play there. The following year, Street Fighter Cross Tekken and stuff like that was very important to me to play. So when Street Fighter 6 was there, I got to play so much. I got to talk to some of the people who worked on a game, some people in the scene, and it felt like I was in college all over again because I really love fighting games. They're my favorite genre of games to play. You wouldn't be able to tell that because I play Monster Hunter like crazy, but fighting games are like my
Okay.
go-to games. So I was already excited for Street Fighter 6. I'm excited for Tekken 8. Apparently Mortal Kombat 12, whenever that trailer's dropping.
Apparently, yeah. Any day now.
Yeah, so really it's like I get excited when new fighting games are announced. So playing that as much as I did really reawoken like wanting to get back into fighting games. So I'm glad I got to play as much Street Fighter 6 as I did, and I'm already looking forward to when that game comes out. I'm probably going to take the entire weekend or week of off from work just to play that game. Because that's a game I could talk about for ages. Like I had so much I was talking about the game. I did a mini thing with Nerd Cowboy. I just talked about the game to them, and they were really excited that I seem to got my passion back for that. And it's just it's great to like have those things come back to you and be like, yo, I forgot how much fun this stuff was. I didn't enjoy Street Fighter Five, but Street Fighter Six was just insane. And the fact the gift card thing happened while waiting to play it, I just think was a nice bonus. So
Yeah,
I
it
feel
would.
like that's the game I'm probably gonna be playing a lot of when I Twitch stream in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking forward to one of my little gift to myself with the whole new job and everything was that like I pre-ordered the Zelda Switch OLED.
That too. I gotta
I got
I
that
told
coming
my
in.
best friend I'd play the game before it came out because I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet. But
What?
that's like my that's like my next game I'm gonna be playing. So I think I'm probably gonna start that playthrough Saturday, if not
Okay.
later tonight.
All
No,
right.
tonight we're doing Pokemon. Yeah, I have to start Saturday.
All right. Yeah, no, I've got that coming out at the end of the month and then, the game comes out in a couple of weeks. Literally like I think the week before I move. So, oh my god. Yeah, it's
It's gonna be a lot.
going to be a lot. Yeah, and then like after that, then there's Final Fantasy 16 and then I think
Yeah, it's gonna be
after
a good summer of games.
yeah, after June I'm just being like, okay, I can tone it down on playing games cuz like right now I'm working through I grabbed like Tron Identity and I'm still working through Persona 4 Golden
Oh, that's a
and
pretty good game.
oh god,
Such a good game.
I'm at the
That actually was. Sorry to cut you off, but that was actually when I first started going to conventions. Otakon. Um, that was one of the first games I played. I was recommended by someone to play, and then I became a fan of the Persona series because of that. I played Persona 4, then I played Golden, then I played 3, and then I played some of 5. I need to finish 5. I might
yeah.
just start playing that. Honestly, I was playing with a friend on hers, so I think I might just like play that game over.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got it. I got it. It was actually it was funny enough. It was actually Marie Gray who told me get Persona 5. I think you'd really
Yep,
like it. So
yep. She recommends some pretty good games. Like
yeah,
I have a list of games she had recommended me to play. That I still gotta play.
yeah. So
I
yeah,
focus-
Persona 5 got me in, and then between 3 and 4, everyone had fought. I kept hearing really good things about 4 Golden, and then thank God it finally got released on the Switch. So I was like, yay! I can
Yeah,
play it now. I don't want to get it on PS5, not yet.
I think my favorite thing about that is I got a lot of playtime for my Switch and my PC and my PlayStation over the course of the pandemic. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get through all these different games. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Nope.
I may have beaten like I may have like 30 plus games
Oh
that I
god.
have right now. I was like, I can get through these games, right? And then I may have gotten through like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh no.
Other things popped up that took my attention. It was just like I started playing Minecraft with some friends for the first time because it was pre-built on my computer I had at the time.
Yeah.
Um, we were playing Raft, Dead by Daylight, Phasmophobia, and those are all games I like streamed like when I first started streaming. And then meanwhile, I have like this giant stack of games over here that I haven't gone through yet, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ,
No, it's not gonna end.
bad. It's bad, man.
Yeah, it's and then I got like the sequel to Coffee Talk that's coming out in a couple of weeks. It's coming out this coming Friday. I got that to play.
All I know is the next 2 months are full of games that I need to find time to play because Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo 4, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy. I think that's it in terms of games I'm looking forward to. But
I think so too.
if,
Yeah,
if the rumor is true, we're getting the next announcement of Monster Hunter coming in June for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever when they're on and stuff like that. That's probably going to be the game I like stream the most because every time a Monster Hunter game came out, well, I can't say that. When Rise came out, that was the main game I streamed on Twitch. That was the first game I actually streamed on Twitch.
mm,
Um, we went back and played Iceborne a bunch, but we were so busy with Rise and stuff, we didn't play too much. But I really want to get back into like Monster Hunter streams because I had a lot of fun doing that. And now that I have a better setup, when the next Monster Hunter comes out, that's going to be like my YouTube video game playthrough I'm going to be doing because right now I have a bunch of footage from a bunch of streams. I'm probably just going to like mesh together
sure.
uh, and see how that does. But I got a lot of like I said, upgrades are coming, so we'll see what happens with footage and memory and stuff like that.
Yeah, it actually just came back to me what I've been meaning to ask because I kind of asked Mink the same thing when we were talking about PAX East, and she kind of had my similar thoughts. So basically, I was talking with her about how I feel like this year, compared to years past at PAX East, the cosplay presence was extremely minimal.
You know what? PAX East, in my opinion, has never really had a big cosplay like audience once
Really?
Riot left. Because once Riot stopped doing PAX East,
That checks out.
the cosplays stopped showing up. I mean, people would cosplay, but like you weren't seeing big League of Legends builds like you were in like 2013 through like
Literally, when we
16.
started, like Riot would always have the biggest booth at the con, and
Yeah,
then they stopped
because
showing.
strange enough to say, Riot wasn't as big as it is now. It was big, but not as big as it is now. Now they have their own event they can do. They don't need to come to PAX East and like showcase. It'd be great. Like if PAX East was like, oh yeah, PAX East 2014 brought to you by 2024 brought to you by Riot Games, and like, oh, League of Legends is coming back. There'd be a lot of cosplay at PAX East next year.
Oh yeah.
There would. But unfortunately, PAX East has never been one of those conventions that cosplay was really like the focus. It was mainly about the video game, which is why I always looked at PAX East as like a working convention. Because even if I wasn't working with a company, I would go there with my own stuff just so I can record footage or maybe even talk to like game devs. Because that's
Sure.
what I did when I went to Nerd Caliber when I first started. Um, I talked to game devs. I wrote articles based off video games for them. I had interviews with game devs. But as time went on and like better paying gigs showed up, I started doing Volante, Aces Predator parties, and working with them. Um, Other game companies I've worked for. It's always been about video games for me, for PAX East. If cosplay was there, that was just a bonus. So I feel like, yeah, while cosplay wasn't a big focus this year, people still do cosplay there. It's just not the focus.
Right. Right.
But I would like to see Riot come back one year. I think that'd be great
Yeah.
because I feel like Riot, whenever they show up to a convention, you know what they should do? Riot should just have its own convention.
Much like BlizzCon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a League of Legends convention.
Yeah. It would
I
certainly
feel like they could
work.
pull it off.
Yeah.
They could pull it off.
They got the money.
Yeah, overall, I mean, Blizzard is doing it, and well, they have been doing it with BlizzCon, which I do want to go to this year. But that is really, I think it's like the week of or after, either week before or after Anime NYC. So going to that would be like, if I do that, that's costly. And it'd be one of those things I have to wait and see because right now the only cons I have planned are Dragon Con, Anime NYC, and HolMat whenever they announce the dates. But I want to do more. Like I want to go to AX. I want to go to DreamCon.
Yeah.
I want to go to New York. I actually want to go to New York Comic Con this year. Like I didn't go last year. I thought I wouldn't miss it, but when it was happening, I'm like, man, I wish I was at Comic Con right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I one of the huge bonuses for me to go was that I always stayed with family. And like
Mhm.
I still have I have some family down there still that I could try to hit up at some point. But
Mhm.
like for me, as of now, like the next con I have on my list is the one in Rhode Island because
Mhm.
I can afford to just go just for one day, go with one of my best friends, and we'll check out the con. I want to get a couple of comics graded.
Yeah. I feel like if you're a comic fan, New York Comic Con is still worth it. If you're going to Comic Con as a cosplayer, there's better options. You're better off just shooting in a city somewhere. Because I feel like every single year New York Comic Con has happened, the cosplay presence has been slowly pushed more and more out. So
Really?
yeah, because it feels like I noticed this in 20. I want to say 2016 was probably the best year of New York Comic Con because a lot of cosplayers went to that convention. They had plenty of place to shoot. It was like a creator's paradise. Like you wanted to shoot or like get good photos, you still could.
Yeah.
But once they started moving to food trucks and exhibitors outside and taking up the main area where cosplayers were really like going to shoot, that kind of killed it for me. And every
Okay.
single year, more and more was added there. Now the point that the tunnels is pretty much mostly food trucks and lines. So you can't even like go outside to shoot. And like, what's the point of bringing a really big, amazing costume to go shoot the Javits when the Javits Center is like the ugliest convention center known to man? Like, you cannot get good photos of the Javits Center. And the place you can get good photos of and set up a photo stuff They don't want you to, which is why I like Anime NYC more because they're a lot more lenient with that. They don't care where you shoot as long as you're not in the way of traffic.
Right.
New York Comic Con is like, oh, you're trying to take a photo against this wall? No, you can't do that. It's like,
Oh
why?
man. Oh my god.
It's so weird to me. So like, part of me wants to go to New York Comic Con just because it was one of the first big conventions I went to. But like,
Same here.
I don't know. Like, we'll see. If I get a media pass or like a content creator badge, I'll go. But if I don't get one of those, I'm not going to spend money on a badge. I haven't bought a New York Comic Con badge since like 2013
Yeah.
because I did panels for New York Comic Con for armor and prop making for 7 years in a row, 6 years in a row.
Whew.
And then I worked New York Comic Con a couple of years, and it was like, okay, I don't need to buy a badge for this con. I bought a badge for my friend. Um, Last year at NYC, I got a content creator badge. So now I'm like, okay, let me actively try to be a content creator and see if I can get a badge for New York Comic Con. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Like when they have the media applications go live, I'll apply. I'll also apply for the content creator badge. So we'll see. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to go to a con, and I'd love to go to. I think it's Wicked Comic Con next week.
Yeah, I wish I was going to the.
I'm just like, money. No, no, not now. Let me.
I think that con is going to be a good. That con is going to grow to become one of the better cons of New England. I feel like it will. Um, I went. I was a guest to the. I was a guest last year for them, and it was only a 1 day con. Yeah. Um, I know the organizers, and he asked me to be a guest. It was a lot of fun. It was only a 1 day con last year. This year it's 2 days. I feel like next year will probably be a 3 day con.
Oof.
They have a lot of good backing for them, so I feel like that con's going to do really well.
Yeah.
I wish I could take off of work to go, but I can't after PAX East Anime Boston.
Yeah.
That was a lot of time I took off.
I gotta. I just gotta wait till my benefits kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Just for stuff like that. I mean, like they're letting work is letting me take the day off of when I move because I we gotta get this thing going, and then I gotta I'm gonna lose my internet for over the weekend. Try to get it quickly installed so I can work again. That's why I think if not Rhode Island in November, maybe I could shoot for FanExpo. You know,
I love the Fan Expo conventions. I'm hoping I can guess more conventions with them this year because I have a lot of fun when I do those conventions with them. They made me want to become a better cosplayer, genuinely.
oh yeah,
Because because the way they run their conventions, they do a lot of conventions throughout the year, and they have like a circuit of costume contests they do. And when you win at one of the Fan Expo shows, you get a guest spot at the big contest that happens at Fan Expo Canada. So as you go through the year, each winner goes to Canada to compete in a big costume, and it's just like I want to be a part of that.
sure,
It's not a judge. I want to be like there for the show because I felt like the MegaCon cosplay contest was the biggest costume contest I ever did. And in terms of costumes and like grandiose size, it still is. But the Anime Boston one was just as good, if not equal. The costumes weren't as big. Like there wasn't a Breath of the Wild Guardian or anything at Anime Boston, but the costumes were still pretty amazing for like the level that I was expecting. Blew me out the water. When I got there, I was like, they're doing a $5,000 prize pool. Oh, maybe the costumes are actually gonna be pretty insane. And yeah, they were because in my mind, Anime Boston was always that con I went to fresh out of college.
yeah,
So going there and seeing the level of cosplay creativity from the novices to the intermediates to the masters level was insane. Like there was novices in there who looked like they could be like master level cosplayers or high
wow,
level intermediate. And it was just like insane to me. Like if they do bring me back next year, I'll be way more prepared. Because I feel like I went in here with I came in there with very low expectations, and I felt they blew my expectations out the water. So I feel like
yeah,
next year, if I was a guest, I'd have to like really be like, okay, this is what to expect.
you underestimated just how big that this costume contest was going to be for Anime Boston, given your past history of going to this con for.
Yeah, my last time going to Anime Boston was 2016.
Wow.
So literally, it was like 6 years, 7 years ago that I went. And when I went there, it was like it was still like a bunch of beginning cosplayers going. I wasn't expecting to see any high level cosplayers there. None really come to mind when I think about it. So I wasn't expecting a lot, but I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, "Wow, this is insane."
Well, it's just good segue. Speaking of Anime Boston, what was the standout? Well, what were some of like the standout cosplay that you saw like while you were judging the contest?
This is going to sound kind of generic to say, but literally about every costume I saw in the contest stood out to me. There was the Monster Hunters that were there. There was a girl who cosplayed from this. I want to say it looked like some kind of drama piece show. That every fabric she used for her costume was fully dyed and hand beaded, gemmed, detailed,
Ugh.
sewed to perfection. Like the costume was phenomenal. There was a guy who literally made a Monster Hunter armor based off one of my favorite layered sets to use in the game, which gives you like this like kind of pumpkin Halloween armor.
Okay.
He made that armor, and it looked really good. And then he made a hunting horn prop with it, which is the biggest weapon in the game. And it actually was functionable and light. And I was just like, wow. They used 3D printing, foam work, sewing work. They had LED lights in there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? There was a novice there who did a Minfa cosplay, and we haven't found her on Instagram, unfortunately. But she cosplayed Minfa from Breath of the Wild, a human version. But it was so expertly well made that we were trying to question, like, are you sure you're a novice? Because like this is really good work for a beginning cosplayer. There was another girl who showed a Sakizo costume that was her first costume ever. Like the Sakizo designs, those really intricate, like 18th century ball gown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her first costume she ever made. She hand sewed everything on that costume, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was the first costume.
Sure. Okay.
My first costume was a Deadpool suit from Amazon. The only thing I sewed together was like the sword and gun holsters. You made a full-on dress, the leggings and everything.
I just used like black costume pants and like a black T-shirt and hot glued Nightwing's New 52 red emblem.
Exactly. And there's another girl who made Cardcaptor Sakura completely out of crochet. Like the entire costume was crocheted, like needle, like that stuff, entirely crocheted, and she 3D printed the props, the staff prop she had, and then crocheted around that. And the light actually lighted up in the middle for the star. And the wig was like yarn work and everything like that, like from head to toe, crochet work. And we're just like, why is this so difficult? We spent 45 minutes picking the masters. I can say it now because everyone won. We spent 45 minutes deciding who was taking second and first place in the Masters division because it could have went to either or. Sure, like there was we had to literally nitpick to figure out who was going to be like first place, second place. But best in show, we all just. One thing I'll say about my judges, Stars of Cassiopeia and Lady Shells, we shared the same brain cell when it came to our picks of who was winning that contest, which ones impressed us the most. Right. So it wasn't really difficult to pick out like best novice, best intermediate, best prop, best judges' favorite, stuff like that, best in show. But when it came to the Masters category, we spent 45 minutes going back and forth on who was going to be first, who was going to be second, and legitimately, it killed us to do because. When we finally made the decision, we were so tired that literally we just laid on the floor for like 15 minutes. We took our wigs off. We were just on the floor.
Did you post a photo of that? I think I saw that.
On Twitter. And we were just so tired, man. It was something else. Like it's that kind of stuff that reminds you why you love doing conventions. Because it's just like you do a convention, you see people just walking around having fun. Cool, seeing your friends and all that stuff is great. But what really sold me on going to conventions was the level of creativity. And as a creative person, it motivates you to want to up your game. Like I went to that con with so no expectations. Like just another cosplay contest at a smaller convention because I assume it's a smaller convention. No, it had a $5,000 prize pool, and the costumes are some of the best costumes I've seen in my entire cosplay career. And it's just like, damn, I really need to up my game. And I'm just like, I just look back on my photos because I had took photos of every single contestant before we judge them, so we can look back on it for deliberation. And we're still in a group chat talking about some of the costumes we've seen, and I'm like, yo, like the Nympha cosplay in particular really inspired me because one costume I wanted to do for a while now was Prince Sidon from Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I could never figure out how to properly do that, and then I saw her costume, and I'm like,
you pieced it together,
literally perfected. Like that was so good, and I'm just like, I really need to do Sidon now in the same manner. I need to see her costume again because just like I was mind blown at how well it was made.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. It was insane. Like I have costume ideas. I was pulling out through. I have like a little drawer behind my green screen next to my crafting table of like costume ideas I want to do. And I started pulling out things like, what do I want to make? Throwing things out that I wasn't going to make, adding things I was thinking about doing. And I'm just like, yeah, I have an idea of what I want to do. Now I just got to sit down and do it. I might have to order some more specialty foam for one project I want to do. Which, if I go to New York Comic Con, that'd be the costume I'd do.
Right.
I'm doing. Do you know League of Legends at all?
I don't play the game, but
vaguely.
Who's
Lucian Purifier character I wanted to do forever. He's like this dual gun wielding marksman, who's on a quest to save his wife, and it's been on my list forever. Like all his skins are like some of my favorite skins in the game, but he has one called the Strike Paladin, and a friend of mine was telling me this at Anime Boston because I don't know League of Legends like that. I know a few characters, but she told me Google Strike Paladin Lucin, and when I saw it, and I'm like,
Lucin, I know.
So literally, Strike Paladin Lucin. If you Google it and you see what the skin looks like, I was mind blown. I'm like, this skin is so sick. Like to the point, like if I made this, this would be like the big costume I'd do for like a giant con. Like it's pretty much Lucin the Purifier if he was a Gundam. And I'm like, the armor looks insane. I could totally do the armor, and I'm just like piecing together how I would do like the wings. I'm looking at Mercy cosplayers and how they do theirs. I can add lights and stuff to this. It'd be a very fun build, to say the least. So, like, that would probably be something I'd want to do.
Oh yeah. I'm getting it right now. Oh geez. Yeah, that is. You're right. That is Gundam-esque.
I would love to make this costume. Like, I already saved it in my files, and I'm just like, I took it to paper to see how I can like design it out, and I'm just like, yeah, I think this is the one I would do for like the next big show I do.
So now here's an interesting question. Would this, I don't know, would this be like the one where? Because I always like to ask, if you had unlimited time, unlimited money, what's your dream costume? Is that it?
Ooh, it wouldn't be that. No, I can gently make that. If I was to have unlimited money, unlimited time to make a dream costume, it's a 3-way tie of what I would do.
Ooh.
One would be Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode from Digimon.
Okay.
Because that was one of my favorite Digimon designs in the older anime. It would have been Omnimon, but I've seen that one done. I've never seen Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode done. Or maybe Alphamon as well. Alphamon is black and gold armor, and that's a color set I loved seeing. I could do that. The other one I would probably do would be the Fatalis armor from Monster Hunter, because that's like the end-all, be-all armor in the game. Like, no armor is better than that armor.
Okay.
And the way the armor looks in Iceborne is they reimagine the armor to perfection. So I would do the full armor set with the wings, with the glowing eyes on the chest and the head. I would do the scaled armor it has. and I would probably make one of the bigger weapons for it. Maybe a greatsword or something, because a greatsword has lore in the game.
I'm just
And
shaking my
third,
head and nodding, like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
we can Google later. And my final one. Actually, no, it might just be those two. Now I think about it. Well, three. But then an Alphamon I could make easily. It'd just be bulky as fuck, and I don't know if I'd bring that. If I brought to a con, it'd be the only costume I'd bring. Besides, like, small stuff.
Or you just bring it for one day for a specific time frame. Do I get photos?
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, if I bring it to a con, I'm going to need to, like, pack a car with it, sort of thing. Yeah, generally those two. Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode or the Fatalis Cross Armor.
Okay.
Which...
For me, it would have to be a set of Dragoon armor from Final Fantasy XIV. Cause Jesus,
Dragoon armor is pretty sick.
That's the class that I like to play as back when I was playing 14. So I'm hoping to maybe get back into it after a couple of months once I get,
My friend group is trying to get me into that. We just recently started playing Phantasy Star on New Genesis. So that's like my MMO right now. But if I had more time on my hands, I'd be down to play 14. But 14 is one of those games I know you have to devote your like time to do it. So it'd be one of those things
it was time for me, and then also again money.
Yeah,
I couldn't keep up with the monthly, but it's a lot.
Yeah. So like I couldn't devote time to 14 right now. But we'll see. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen next few months? Like, I'll be looking for games to stream. I think my main priority for when I start streaming more consecutively during the summer is to get through my backlog. Also be playing a lot of Monster Hunter and a lot of Street Fighter. And then we'll see what happens for YouTube content, because that's what I'm thinking about now. Because I already have ideas in terms of like costume creation and vlogging I can do for YouTube, but I want to add gameplay to that as well.
Right.
I have plans. I do have plans I want to put into motion, and once I have more free time on my hands, I'm definitely going to be working hard towards that.
Yeah. I just have to double up and get in touch with people I've been reaching out to about making a podcast recording with. So I'm hoping
I get that. My friend group wants to start a podcast, but we have no idea how to start one. So it's one of those things I've been researching, and also just finding time for us to actually meet up and do it.
Well, I would definitely recommend using the Spotify for Podcasters website app that I've been using, formerly known as Anchor. Then they got bought by Spotify, and then they actually just recently rebranded. But you make your podcast and upload it, host it for free.
Okay, cool.
Back then, I was using SoundCloud, and I had to get a premium membership to because of the allotted time that I could store. And then Anchor came around and like, hey, you should do it for free. Like, okay.
I know I need to get some equipment to do it. I have something I've been looking at, like a mixer pad for it. I can like bring with me places. So if you do a podcast, we'll probably record like a few episodes in advance, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in advance, then release them over time.
Get the ball running. Yeah.
We already have ideas for podcast episodes we want to do, but that's on the list. I might record it because once I have footage and like camera equipment to do so, I'd probably just do that.
Yeah, I know. Actually, eventually, Anya Braddock said that she definitely wants to do one with me eventually. So we're trying. She'd be great to do one with. Oh yeah. Oh god, I love her to death.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So we just got to find the time before she leaves for her next trip. I know for me,
I think you got some time. No, she's dealing with some family stuff right now, so I think that's her priority.
Absolutely.
But I don't think her next thing is until next month.
She told me when she was leaving next. So I was like, okay, we got some time. Definitely. That's like right before I move.
Yeah. But I want to get the ball rolling on stuff soon. So like I have ideas jotted down here in my notebook for things I want to do, and I already started on some of them. So
good.
What I gotta do is figure out my summer and how that's planning. Because so far, the only thing I have planned solidly is Dragon Con and going to my friend's wedding in July.
Nice.
Other than that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know equipment wise, like I'm using a Blue Yeti Nano, which I like, but I'd love to try and because I actually got talked into it when I was talking with the folks at PAX East over at the Elgato booth.
Yeah,
They were mentioning their Wave 3 mic, and I was asking her about it, like,
I'll
how's the
probably look
qual-
into that
how's
because
the
I'm actually looking for a new mic.
well, she kind of sold me on because she's like, how's the quality? Because she was like, honestly, funny you should ask, because like my previous mic was, I think it was either a Yeti Nano or a Yeti Snowball for like streaming and whatnot, and then she got this mic, the Wave 3, and like
Mm-hmm.
she got compliments saying like, oh my god, the audio quality is like way better. I'm like, oh, so I
Let me
just
look that
gotta.
up.
It's like $150.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, if I ugh, after I move, if I can sell this nano mic, then I'll get the mic.
Yeah, because right now I'm using a Yeti Blue mic. You can't see because my green screen, but
I
I've been
had
using it since 2020.
yeah, I had a normal blue Yeti, and then I got a nano just out of curiosity of like having a smaller mic to travel for conventions, but that never happened. I never
Well, you know
did
what's funny? You can get one of those wireless mics through like Amazon and get a decent one.
Yeah.
Not super expensive, like 30, $40.
Eh. The Wave 3 is definitely something I'm looking into for like a podcast equipment upgrade.
Oh yeah, I think that's what I was either gonna get that or which one I had in my cart? The HyperX Quadcast.
Hmm.
Also, I'm thinking about getting a gimbal so I can record stuff at conventions for video sake.
Right. So is there anything else about PAX East or Anime Boston that you want to touch on, talk about, shout out?
Not really, but I gotta say, Anime Boston has definitely changed as a convention I know for the better. I never thought it was a bad convention. It's just that when I started doing different conventions, I picked and choose which ones I can go to. I genuinely hope not PAX East, Anime Boston brings you back next year. I would love to be a guest for the convention again. I would love to be a judge for the cosplay contest once again. I just want to do that at more conventions. Like, have it my way. I'll be doing more FanExpo shows this year. I wanted to sit down and talk to them about it because I would really love to do more shows with them because I really enjoy the FanExpo cons.
Yeah. I think
The
I've
people
only
I've worked with for those conventions are really great. Uh, Anime Boston, shout out to Anime Boston staff. The staff and volunteers for that convention are amazing. They were so helpful. They were so polite. They were very, very nice. One texted me the other day because he had my phone number saying, "Hope you are recovering well from Anime Boston. I know I'm still feeling tired from the weekend." I'm like, "Yeah, man. This is my first day. I'm really getting to like rest."
yeah.
And apparently they had a lot of good stuff. We gave them some good feedback. Nothing like was really wrong. We just said maybe next year have the guest judges be on stage, have a photo op with all the winners. That would have been a really good photo op to close out the masquerade.
Oh sure.
Um, Also, maybe do a convention, a cosplay masquerade feedback where the guest judges can be at a panel or like an open area where they can talk to the contestants on how they can improve their costumes and stuff like that. Because we didn't have a lot of time to do that after the masquerade was over. So I think that'd be a nice thing to add for next year. As for PAX East, honestly, just have more games next year. Have more big AAA titles. I think that's the only thing that I noticed that was a problem for me. Because outside of Street Fighter 6, there really wasn't anything else.
No,
I mean,
no,
Final Fantasy
it was
15 was there, but in
yeah.
panel.
It's funny because I think Mink and I were talking about this too. I mean, it's definitely a powerhouse show for the indies,
Mm-hmm.
which is always good to see. But like,
Oh yeah, support the indies for sure.
yeah, but like Devolver had a giant booth. You had Street Fighter over at the Intel booth, I think.
Yeah,
And
it was the Intel.
but what it was, Nintendo only had a presence there for like photo ops and like their
And
versus
trading
thing.
card.
Square
I was
Enix
very disappointed by that.
by Nintendo's presence.
Yeah, because I saw the giant Nintendo. We were like, oh, they have presents here this year. It was just the statue of Link and a Pokemon trading card area, and it's like,
And
okay,
yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I also wanted to try to do. Like, aside from like balancing like media appointments and like hanging out with friends, if they somehow do like a Smash tournament next year,
That'd be great.
I got nothing to lose. Let me try one.
Yeah, that'd be really great. They did something for Smash there. I generally feel like PAX East has this place. Would I go back next year if I go with my friends like I did last year? Yes. If I'm working, yes. Would I go back as an attendee, like no panel, I have to buy a badge to go? I'd probably skip. Not saying the con is bad, but like if I got to pick and choose cons I want to go to, that's not one thing I would go on my own dime. Like I only go there really to work, and this year it worked out for me to go and not to spend a lot of money. But yeah, next year if I'm not working like solid getting a paycheck out of it, I don't think I'd go. Like if I go with my friends again, then yeah, I would go. But it depends.
For me,
I
definitely.
really want to do more cons I'm guessing at for next year.
Yeah. For me, definitely. Like I got to make sure for next year to stay till Monday.
Yeah.
B, stay at a hotel that's closer to the freaking convention center because a 30-minute walk.
Yeah.
A 30-minute walk. I got my exercise in, but ow, my feet.
Oh yeah, I definitely felt that at the PAX. I got my steps in for that convention for sure, but oh my god, I was in pain.
Huh. Is there anything else that you yourself would love to talk about, bring light to? Because I have an idea, but I don't know if I want to bring it up.
Shoot, go for it. What's the idea?
Well, could I tell myself that like everyone's experience is different, but like as a person of color, do you think that the cosplay community or content creation community has made somewhat better stride in its treatment? Because I'm just hesitant to ask because I always. I mean, maybe it is good to ask because like I always ask this.
No, it's a good question.
Everyone's experience is different.
Yeah, everyone's experience is different. Me personally, I do feel there's been some progress. Not a lot of progress, but there's been some. Right. There's still a lot of things that could be fixed and could be done better. For example, I don't see as many blackface cosplays anymore. I don't remember the last time I've actually seen one. I remember like in 2015, it seemed like one happened every single week for like a month and a half straight. I feel like at this point, it's one of those things that when you say you don't know, but you're on social media, I feel like you're lying because I feel like by now that is something that is widely known as taboo in our community.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I don't see that often anymore. I would like to see more conventions have more diverse guests because a lot of conventions. That's one thing I gave FanExpo and Anime Boston a lot of talking how they do their guests. There's a lot of diversity in their roster. Sure. When I see cons have guest lists and there's maybe like 2 people of color out of like 12 or 10 people, I don't feel like that's a good number to have. I feel like it should be like a very open roster of who you have. And if they aren't going to be like a person of color, have someone plus size, have someone non-binary, have someone disabled. Like there's plenty of cosplayers out there who could fit the bill for what you need as in terms of a cosplay guest that don't have to just necessarily look all the same.
Right.
There was a con that had like a guest of like 12 different cosplayers, and maybe like 2 of them were people of color. And to me, I feel like that's weird. Not a huge like. I'm not like like a big giant thing like, oh, cancel the con. That's just something that they need to consider for the next year. But I do feel like one thing I noticed a lot is that with the rise of TikTok, we have a whole new genre of content creators coming into the convention space. And I feel like this could be a good and bad thing because a lot of them come in here and can be a little wild. I know like they gave Whole Wheat Pete some nonsense for like how he does his videos, but apparently he was like, I always actually use consent before I act. And people just make generalizations about people based on what they see on the surface level, but they don't actually know what goes on behind the scenes. I'm glad that stuff gets addressed. But I realize that if we're gonna have like these kind of content creators coming into the cosplay space, I feel like there needs to be a general idea of what is okay and what is not okay. But in terms of making strides towards, more people of color in the space, I'm happy about it. Like things like DreamCon exists now, which is like on my list of conventions to go to. That is a convention created by Black content creators for Black content creators, and
Oh
I
shit!
really, really want to attend that con this year. Like, if I can like go to that con this year, I would. Like, it's in Texas, and it's like shortly after I get back from a wedding and shortly after Anime Expo. So it's one of those things. If I do go to Anime Expo, I plan heavily. So like, we'll see. I mean, I'm aiming to go this year. If I get to go, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
But having my way, I really want to do more guest appearances this summer for Fan Expo. I was already talking to them about. I can't really say too much. I'm already talking to them about some stuff.
Cool.
And we'll see what happens with them. Right now, I have no more guest opportunities throughout the year. Like I said, I have like Anime NYC I want to go to, which is easy because it's here in New York City, near Comic Con. Don't really count those because that's home turf. Dragon Con is already for the most part planned out. I just got to buy my plane ticket when I get the chance. HolMat needs to announce their freaking dates. Need to know when that con's happening because I want to go this year. Because planning that is different from any other convention I go to. Because Disney, it's the con, and then we take it from there. But yeah, so hopefully, hope we got some things I can be cooking up within the next few months. I'll have more of a solid idea of what I'm doing. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So far, I'm pretty happy with how the creator space is doing for cons and cosplay in general. There's always room for improvement, but I feel we're heading towards the right steps and the right way. If the only something stupid happens that make us go backwards, I think we'll be all right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, cross for sure.
All right. Well, honestly, I think that is a beautifully perfect way to cap off and end this episode. If you guys were watching this live, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're listening to the episode audio, Lee, I don't know if that's a word.
Mhm.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Definitely, Spectra. If people want to go follow your stuff, where do they go?
You can find me at Spectra_V3 on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I'm revamping my Facebook fan page as well, which you can just find at under Spectra. And yeah, stay tuned for new stuff coming soon.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned for more gaming streams throughout this coming week on my end, and podcast episodes are coming. I think like 1 to 2 are just need to narrow down a date, so stay tuned for that. And again, Spectra, thank you so much for doing it with me.
No problem, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I hope you had fun.
I did. This was a lot of fun. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, so it was nice to actually do one and be on the opposite side for once.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That really makes me happy. Make me know that I'm doing my job right.
Yeah, you're doing good, dude. Keep it up.
Thanks so much. All right. So I will catch you guys all on the next stream.